Hello,
Hi,
Mary
Jameca.
Weaver. Hello, Facebook. Can you tell I'm excited today?
Yes.
I'm
You look
excited.
excited. You're smiling. You look
Yes.
like the cat that swallowed the canary,
'Cause
like you have something.
I'm excited for this new show, for your show, Lunchtime with Mary Karen Weaver,
And
with
it's
Dr. Karen
lunchtime, but
Weaver.
you
It's
see, there's no
lunchtime.
lunch here.
I know we need some lunch.
We need lunch, but okay.
So
That's okay.
I'm happy that we're here, and I'm happy that everyone joined us today. So share, tell a friend.
That's what I'm trying to do.
Is share.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see.
Okay. I'm trying, Mickey. I'm trying to share this.
Me too. I don't. Oh yes, I see us.
You do?
I
Okay.
do.
Let me go. Okay, I do too. I'll share now. All right, let's go.
All right, so let's go. So
Let's go.
I'm happy that I was so happy when I heard that you were going to do this because I think it's important for people to. I know you're out in the community a lot, but just for everyone to be able to hear your voice and all of that. So
Well, we've been
what are
talking
you?
about it for a while, and you see, I
Yeah,
have my vote button on
yes,
because it's election time.
it is. It
It's
is.
election time.
So what are you going to be talking about on this new show?
Well, this is our introduction, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, one of the things I think I should be talking about, and you can tell me, but as I've been going out, I've been hearing from people. But also, what's the platform? What are my priorities? I think that's really important, and my priorities really line up with what I've heard from the people as I've been out going door to door, talking with them, as I've listened to them in other kinds of venues, and what's going on in Flint.
All right.
That's what.
So what? Because I know that I just go back to the what was it 9-10 days 9-10
Oh,
a.m.
okay,
when you were
okay.
on the radio, and
Right.
sometimes I would be on with you, and you always talked about Flint and what was happening in Flint. And now that you're out campaigning, I know that you've been really like listening, like you
Yes.
said, and hearing from the people. And so have those conversations shape your platform? And if so, how?
Well, I'll
What do
tell
you
you
think?
what I'm hearing, and it lines up with
Oh,
what we've been talking about
okay.
anyway, as far as priorities. Crime.
Mm-hmm.
Crime, it's out of control.
Mm-hmm.
Blight. People are tired of the way the city looks. And those two things really go hand in hand.
Absolutely.
Economic development, economic opportunities for people that live in Flint. And I'm talking about all of Flint, not just certain areas of Flint, but bringing economic opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you one thing that I've heard a lot about. Well, before I get to that one, well, both of these things really, Jameca, we can talk about the ARPA funds.
Mm-hmm.
The ARPA funds that have been sitting there
Mm-hmm.
that could be used to address some of these things that we just talked about,
Right.
to address
Absolutely.
public safety, to address blight, to
Mm-hmm.
address, some of the things going on with our streets, these raggedy streets that we have.
Mm-hmm.
There's money sitting there that's
Mm-hmm.
available. I also think about as I've been going around, and the temperature has dropped drastically, and we hear about
Mm-hmm.
consumers energy going up as far as their rates. One of the ways that these ARPA funds could be used in helping people fix up their homes.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen people with tarps. Some people have had more than one tarp on their roof.
That's horrible.
Their walls are messed up because of these leaky roofs. The windows are messed up and air is coming in. Their doors have big spaces. I think that these ARPA funds could be used to address some of those kinds of things, and I've heard that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And we won't even talk about the water. I mean, we should not even be talking about the water in
Right. The water
2022
should have been
because those
remember
pipes
when
should have been finished.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the things that I'm hearing about is why don't we talk about these things? Why haven't we changed those last 2,500 pipes when we were a year ahead of schedule? Why are our lead rates going back up? Why are people getting Legionnaires again? Why are chlorine levels low in certain areas? And why aren't these things being talked about? Why are we being told crime is high everywhere and that's the answer when we know that it's not? So those are some of the things I think we need to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Those are my thoughts.
So that sounds like an excellent platform because like you said, that's what people are saying that needs to happen in the city. That's what we live with every single day.
Right.
And I look forward to hearing, in the coming weeks, you really talk about, dig in with those different things. But you said crime,
Yes.
blight,
Yes.
economic
I said
development,
raggedy streets.
raggedy street.
That
That's a
mess
big
up.
deal.
I know they mess up our cars.
Because at this point, I feel like those ARPA funds should just send all of us just a blanket check, because we've
Wow.
all replaced tires,
Yes.
rims, and everything.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So where's the money for that? What's going on with that? And so crime, economic, the streets,
And yes, and I said water and the
water.
pipes.
Mm-hmm.
Because there was an article that just came out from NRDC. This is what, September 26th.
Mm-hmm.
The deadline is what?
In 4 days.
In 4 days.
Mhm.
You think we're gonna make that deadline?
Are we gonna?
You wanna bet?
I don't want to bet because I don't have money to just give away.
Yeah, okay. Because you know what bet I'm going. You know the bet I'm making.
Because it's not gonna happen. You know what? I just think that is downright shameful.
It's downright shameful because once again, public health was not made a priority in this community. And that was one of the things we talked about so much, was we were never going to let profit be put over the public health and well-being of this community. And that's what a leader is supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
You're supposed to represent the people. You're supposed to protect the people and serve the people. And when we have been through a water crisis, when people have been dead, damaged, and we are still waiting to see the rest of this fallout as a result, because we know it takes time. That's something that should have never happened.
Absolutely.
To have dismantled public health, and we were smack dab in the middle of a public health crisis, and then COVID comes. I mean, it's shameful that those pipes have not been changed, and it's shameful that no one is speaking up. Okay, let's say the mayor is not speaking up and asking for in-home plumbing, in-home fixtures and appliances to be addressed as well, at no cost to the public. That was one of the things we were asking for then, and that's one of the things I'm going to continue to ask for and fight for when I get back in office, because that's important. That's so important. And I mean, you were the chief recovery officer. What does this look like recovery to you?
This does not look like recovery to me. This is not what recovery looks like. And it saddens me. It hurts my heart, like seriously hurts my heart, because to hear, oh, we don't have the pipes replaced because of COVID. Well, that makes me cussing mad.
Oh, wow.
Because you know why? Because
it makes her cussing mad.
Because that's not an excuse.
It's not, and it makes me cussing mad.
We opened up the hair salons, the nails. So we opened up so long ago. Why is it that though we only had a few left? What was it, 2,500 or something like that?
Yes.
And how many in the time that you were in office?
We had 28,000 that we needed to look at. We were a year ahead of schedule. And now it's like we are going backwards.
So now we're like 3 years behind schedule.
And people are getting sick again. That's what really gets me, is when you some of these people. That have come down with Legionnaires. You've seen the people whose homes have the low chlorine levels. We've talked with them, and that's a problem. And so when people say, are you surprised? The answer is no. We need to put some of these kinds of things back in place. Not only making sure those pipes get changed, but continuing to fight for those things I talked about in home, but keeping the community informed. Every Monday we put out a report, and you talk about it all the time. I think Jameca will not let me live down that. I thought, but it was important for this community to know where we were with pipe replacement, where we were with restoration, when we were coming into your neighborhood. That was important, and we need to go back to informing and educating the community. And that was one of the things I said was, even if it's bad news, let us know the truth. Tell us the truth about what's going on, so I can be better prepared to what do I need to do for myself and my family? How do I protect us? How do I speak up for us? How do I fight for us? And so putting some of those meetings back in place, we asked for that FWIC meeting to continue so the community could be informed. So that's very, very important. And that has to be a priority. And while I talk about unfinished business. It's bad that we have unfinished business.
It's horrible.
Because there's some new and exciting opportunities as
Mhm.
well. And when you think about these ARPA funds that have been sitting there
Mhm.
that could be used not only to address some of the things we've talked about, crime and blight, fixing up our homes, there's some
Mhm.
exciting new opportunities that we should be looking at and talking about, because that's what the residents of Flint deserve, to have old business finished and new exciting opportunities ahead, something
Mhm.
to look forward to. And I know we do have some things to look forward to.
Mhm. We do. We have some things to look forward to. We have the ability and the means right now to move Flint forward in a positive manner. It's too bad that you're not just like going forward. You got to kind of go back and fix some of those things, like you said, those pipes. What happens? So we were a year ahead of schedule. What happens if we don't meet deadline now, or when we don't
Well,
meet deadline?
that's what we're going to find out. We will find out what the NRDC is going to say. I know there were some issues with the lawsuit. Maybe something will come as a result, because some of that money came as a result of the lawsuit the concerned pastors filed. So it would be interesting to see what happens as a result of that. I mean, we're still mad because of the piddly. Oh, okay, we're not the piddly settlement that we got. I know that makes me cuss and mad too. What it does.
Because it's ridiculous. But people haven't even gotten the pennies that they're supposed to get anyway.
A lot of people have been asking me that as I go
Mhm,
around.
mhm.
When is that money coming? How much is it going to be? And one of the things I've told them is, we don't know. We know it's not going to be what we deserve. We know it's not going to be anything that represents the value of our lives and the damage that has been caused in this city of ours. We know
no
that.
one will be made whole.
No.
One. Not even the people who say, you know what, for me, it was just a couple of appliances. They won't even be made whole. No one.
If you get the money, you might be able to buy one
Right.
appliance. I don't know. But look how long we've had to wait.
Right.
Look how long we've had to wait.
It's ridiculous. And to see, like you said, people start experiencing bad water again, or the results of bad water,
Jameca,
getting sick.
When you're told the water's good, completing pipe replacement, fighting for in-home infrastructure is not a priority. Why would it be if everything is good? And that's what we've been told over and over and over again. It's like the beginning. We knew brown water was bad then, and we see what's going on now. When you don't complete the job, I've compared it to, you go to the doctors, you got an infection. The doctor gives you antibiotics. Well, you start feeling better after you take half the bottle, and then you don't finish. And then you wonder why, I got that sinus infection again. Yeah, you didn't finish. You didn't finish the job that you started. And while of course it's going to start looking better and feeling better, but if you don't complete it, you're knocked back out. And so that's, I think, is just absolutely a shame. I think it's absolutely a shame. I mean, I think about economic development, for that to have been given away, for a city that has deserved economic development, and people laser focused on making economic opportunities happen for us, happen in their neighborhoods. And I've always said, I mean, and I've never shied away from, every thriving city has a thriving downtown, but you have to make other areas thrive as well, and recognize the importance of a community. We need new houses in Flint. People are looking to move to Flint if they had homes to live in. People are looking for that. We can't just tear down, and we don't build up.
Right.
And those are some of the issues and some of the problems that I see, but it doesn't mean that they can't be addressed and they can't be fixed, because we know, we know they can, and I hope people know that as well. Those are the things I want to address. Those are the things that I want to fight for.
And when you think about downtown, I heard Pastor Wallace say that downtown is like the heart.
Yes.
But the heart has
but both of my feet are broken.
Right.
I mean, my feet are broken, so I can't walk.
Right.
I got a migraine, so the light hurts me. So what can I do?
Fingers are broken. Like
I'm
still hurting.
Can't function at my full capacity. I'm still incapacitated. It's like I've been hobbled. But yeah, my heart's beating, and I sure feel the pain. And that was That was Pastor Wallace Hill that said that.
Yeah,
I remember
yeah.
him talking about that. And that was such a good analogy because it's true. It's true. So we need to be moving past that. We need to be moving past that. And I just haven't seen that happen. But in order for those things to happen, you have to have someone that advocates for Flint. You have to have someone that speaks up for Flint. You have to have someone that's going to those tables that make things happen for Flint. Right now, we keep getting handouts from the state. I mean, I'm sorry, but we shouldn't be a handout city. We should be a hand up city. They should be making us whole and making us complete. And even when we were in office and we got things as a result of the crisis, some things you should get as a result of a crisis. But some of those things we were going after, and I'm glad we went after, you shouldn't have to go through a crisis to get. I mean, you shouldn't have to go through what we went through to get playgrounds for kids, to have economic development at City Hall. I mean, some things just make sense, and they are for the health and well-being of a community.
Right.
I know I have a lot to say.
No,
and I have a lot of thoughts.
I'm happy that you're saying it because, I mean, I'm happy to know that this is your platform. I'm happy to know that because for me as a resident living in this city, you know, not being able to like let my grandkids brush their teeth in the sink, you know what I mean? That's
scared
troubling.
for them to be out front because somebody's going to be drag racing down the street, or somebody will be shooting.
Scared for them.
And you've experienced that firsthand. And for us to not be proactive, for us to have these funds that could have perhaps helped lessen the amount of crime that has taken place. But you know what? Crime is down 40%. Believe it if you want.
If you want, I don't believe it if I want. You know why?
Yeah, I know why, but go ahead and tell us.
Because we hear it and it happens too often. And this is Flint. So you know, we all you know people, and you're not going to convince me that people that I know are experiencing these things, but nobody else is experiencing them. Because for crime to be down, it would have to only be.
It depends on how you report it, Jameca. I mean, you get shot, but you didn't die, so it's not reported. And is that true? Isn't that true?
Horrible.
That's what happens.
I laugh to keep from like crying or something.
So you gotta die for it to be a crime.
Yes. And if we don't blast it on social media, it doesn't get reported. I mean, and there are still things that have not been reported. I know where my sister stays. There were shootings over there. It was roped off. This was over a year ago. She was picking the casings up from her driveway. We never heard what happened.
It was that you see what that right there is why I'm happy that crime is one of your platform. One of the things that are important.
It has to be because we're trying to build Flint. We want to keep people in Flint. We want people to come to Flint. You know, I mean, I was just with some young people over the weekend, and it was so nice to see so many of them because we're losing our young people not only to violence, but to loss and lack of opportunity for them right here in Flint, for their children, even if they may not have a family yet. There are things that need to be in place if you want to keep people here, if you want to bring people here. And we've got people that are, I guess you can say middle age, they're leaving. Like, I'm scared.
It's scary. And I remember when you were in office and crime was down for real, like in real life.
In real life.
And we felt there, we felt more comfortable to go out and do things. But now, it's that's not the case. That's not. I'm afraid to go to the gas station in Flint. And that's crazy because this is my city that I love and that I have never been afraid in.
Yeah.
But it's so much happening.
I mean, and you've had some really close encounters and experiences with your own family.
With my own family.
Right.
With my own family.
Right.
And so it frightens you. You know what I mean? It makes you hyper aware that it can happen at any moment at any time with anyone. You know, and when my grandchildren are sitting in a car that's
They get
being
shot
up, and them telling me, and at the time, you know, they were 2 and 4, and them telling me what happened. That right there, but crime is down. And that was like in the morning.
And the other
early in the day.
right, but the other thing it highlights that we have to talk about is mental health, because that's traumatic. And that's traumatic for young kids. It's traumatic for adults. And we've already seen, in fact, well, the media did talk about this, about the mental health as a result of the water crisis, the PTSD, the depression and anxiety. And then you mix that with all of the crime that we've had. You mix that with a COVID coming right behind the public health crisis of poisoned water.
You stir all that up, and then you take public health out of City Hall. I'm gonna sip my coffee.
I'm at a loss for words, other than here's what we're going to do. And so it's been very interesting, because there are some things that you have to go back and redo. When a structure has been torn down, you have to rebuild it, but you build it stronger. And so those are some of the things that I'm excited about and thinking about as we look forward to going back to City Hall. I mean, you know, something that doesn't get talked about, but they're talking about it out in the streets. And it ties to mental health, because you always have drugs and mental health, or I know I can't think of the appropriate term on how I want to say it, but
the correlation or
something. I mean, but they go together. And you know, you think about the opioid crisis that's going on, and you know, we see it right over here where we are, especially. We've had two ish incidents where I've been here, and we've watched them right there on the street that have overdosed. And there you know, okay, I'm gonna go back to ARPA, but these aren't ARPA dollars, but there are dollars that are there because
you initiated the lawsuit for the opioid crisis.
Yes, and we got about $9 million.
Well, what's happened? Because you initiated, so
I need one of those emojis where the eyes are like this and your mouth is just a slit.
Well,
can you put that up?
I'm working.
Well, so for those who don't know, when you were in office, you initiated the lawsuit for the opioid crisis. But that money,
you know who helped me get to the person to do that? Reverend Jackson.
Reverend Jackson, yep.
It was the attorney for Rainbow Push. C.K. Hoffler, who was also the president for the National Bar Association, that said, no, Flint, you need this for Flint. You need this for services, and you can use it. So we got the money. She said there's going to be some more coming. This was just part one of that money. That
you initiated. Yeah, right. And the money came after you were out of office.
Correct.
But I guess my question is, do you know what happened? Like, what new programs? Why are we still seeing?
Let's ask.
Why
I was going to say, because this is like a rhetorical question. You're being sarcastic.
Yeah. Okay. A little bit, but I'm just really wondering why we're still. I guess it is rhetorical, because you know what?
To take a sip of coffee.
I'm just gonna do that because
just take a sip.
So then all of these things.
Yes.
And that ties into crime.
Yes, it
ties
does.
into blight, ties into economic development, everything tying in together. You know, that's why, you know, I'm happy to hear you talk about that being your platform because of those things. And then you talked about ARPA and the fact that money has been sitting there.
And working with our school system. We've got, if we don't have a school system that's in place that really and truly has the best interests of our young people, that educates them at the levels they need to be educated at. If we're not working together, because we are two separate entities that govern themselves, but if we're not working together hand in hand, you're not going to have a successful city either. And so it's incumbent of us to have a good relationship with the school system so we can move Flint forward in that kind of fashion.
Yeah, you're right about that.
You know, and we have been working with the school system before, and we need to continue those kinds of things. So when I think about Flint, those are the things I think about. I get excited about Flint. I really do, because I still see good things happening in our city. I know good things can happen. And so one of the things I know we were talking the other day with some women, and I didn't want people to give up hope, because without hope, you don't have a vision. You can't see anything good happening. And we have a great opportunity to make some great things happen. And that's why I'm running again, because we do have that. We laid a great foundation. I said we weren't perfect, but nobody is. And so, but we have opportunity, but we better take it. We better take it. We better challenge people when they just tell us anything. We need to do that, because some people are letting folks get away with saying whatever they want to say.
And that's what I got a question for.
Okay.
You here. Who brought Lear here?
We did.
Can I?
Go ahead.
She did. Let me do that again, because I just
So he did an interview on live. He said he brought Lear.
Oh yeah. If
He was
said
not at one
that was
meeting.
an
Are you talking about the
absolute
mayor? Mayor,
Yeah,
he did
liar.
not bring one. He was not in attendance at one meeting with me when I was meeting with Lear. In fact, it was myself. Steve Branch was in those meetings. When Sylvester was there, he was in those meetings. We were working with some of the people from the chamber, because we didn't have our own economic development department yet at that time. So I never saw him. He was never at the table with me.
I just did it popped up in my memories a couple weeks ago, when Lear first opened and all of that, and I shared it. I think I said, remember when you brought Lear here?
Yes, I do remember. And it was exciting. I remember when I'll tell you what else I remember. I remember when we brought the new housing here, as far as right across from Doyle Ryder, when we moved people out of Atherton, Atherton's, and got some new apartments. The ones right across from Doyle Ryder, and there are more that are supposed to be coming. And we did that then. That was in place when we were in office, because one of the things we know is recovery looks like get me out of apartments that have been built on a floodplain. When we know all that does is add to the
asthma, breathing issues,
all of those kinds of things. It takes me down as far as my health and my well-being, and it impacts me in a negative way. And so we knew that those families deserved to be in homes that weren't. I mean, that was an environmental injustice. That was it was a huge one. And for families to have had to stay there, some lived there and died there. I mean, because that was for 50 years. It's 50 years that had not been addressed. So that's something that we did. So I don't know. It was exciting. So that's who brought it to your.
You know what? I'm upset. I shouldn't even ask you.
No, you know what? But you make me think about something, because I was out walking the other day, and I know we're almost out of time. 810 News Media, thank you. And I was. You might have been with me. I'm not sure. But I was out walking, and I ran into a lady who lives in one of the new condos as part of that.
I don't think.
And she was telling me, she said, and you should have been at the ribbon cutting. She said, because you were with us, you traveled with us, you made sure we got to go and look at other places to see the kinds of housing they were putting up.
You made sure they had input.
I made sure that they
went
had
on those
input.
trips to those.
And
other
when
places.
we did the groundbreaking, and she said, and I told people that you should have been at the ribbon cutting. And, it made me smile, because, I mean, we have an opportunity to make some lasting changes, some impactful changes, not something just quick fix. And that quick fix is gone.
Right.
But we have an opportunity to make some things happen for Flint that, like I said, the residents of Flint deserve to have happen. So I'm excited.
I
Well,
am
you got
too.
a minute
Vote.
before you close out.
So vote,
Yes,
and
vote.
also tune in every week to hear more
Are we going to have lunch?
on your
I'm
Well,
gonna make sure we have lunch next
to hear
month.
more
Yeah, okay.
on your platform. If you want to hear Dr. Weaver's platform, if you want to hear what she'll be doing when she returns to City Hall, tune in next week.
Tune in next week.
Yeah, 810 Media, shout out.
Yeah, shout out 810 Media on Monday. Every Monday.
Every Monday
at noon. And it's lunch.
Lunchtime.
Lunch.
Lunch.
I
So
think
what
it's a
y'all
good
want for
time.
lunch next Monday? I'm gonna bring it in.
I don't know.
A surprise.
I'll surprise y'all.
Now don't make it something where
We
it's
can't talk.
No, I ain't. I'm a surprise. It's gonna be lunch.
Okay.
It might be a salad somewhere.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to get from the black-owned business or something. bad business where I'm gonna bring something.
All right.
Okay,
Okay.
that sounds good.
Well, you know what? I want to thank everybody for tuning in today. I want to thank you, 810 News Media, for helping us bring our voice to the people. Thank you all for tuning in, and check us out next
Check
Monday.
us out next Monday. We'll be here.
Peace.